And howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. Thumbs up for that. It's Saturday? Question mark? It is Saturday, the 23rd of September, 2023. Yay! I got out of bed at 7:30, a good hour later than I usually do, but then to bed late because, hey, I'm moving. Or at least trying to get so. Yay! It is going to be cold outside, according to the weather forecast. I am an old person, and that I watch weather forecasts. I don't turn on the TV to the weather channel. I don't have a tab open to a weather forecast. But when I want to know what the weather is going to be like, I call up AccuWeather to see what weather is going to be like here. So I check the weather report in the morning. Thumbs up for that. I am old. Oy vey. Yeah, this room is empty. I got rid of the empty hamster cages. I got rid of a thing underneath my craft table there. The craft table now is holding up my PlayStation, wires, part of my monitor. I have this desk in front of me with a monitor and my speakers and stuff and a keyboard garage, but with my computer over there, Dad, I got no reason to use the keyboard garage, so I'm at a table, and then I got junk over here that I'm using. So there's just a little bit of furniture there, my computer, junk, and then it's empty. In my bedroom, there's like a bucket that I have for clean clothing right now, because everything else is moved on out, just a few boxes, and my bed and my clothing. So there's stuff downstairs that I don't know about. Primarily the living stuff downstairs has been for my housemates. I spend most of my time up here, so I don't have a lot of like living stuff downstairs. I mean, there might be some of the bookshelves, and there's maybe some of the plates and stuff, and generally just stuff like that, but not much. I do have to go through we have a storage unit out in our covered garage, which is just they build a shed on one corner of the concrete pad, and then that's your storage unit. So there's a shed out there that there's stuff in that we haven't been using, but it's primarily outside stuff. Also, I think my wife's walker is out there, and her wheelchair is still out there, and you know, there hasn't been a use for him for like 10 years, so yay. So I gotta go through that, gotta finish going through this. I got a lot of stuff downstairs. I don't know, I might still have to go through those boxes and get rid of more so that it fits, since I can't stack a lot of this stuff. So we shall see. Yay. Past that, I am super duper sore. Oh my gosh, my arms are killing me. And it's not, muscle fatigue, it's nerve compression and nerve irritation. They're not happy, my muscles aren't happy. Because when your nerves are irritated, your muscles, they pay the price for it. And when your muscles pay the price for it, they're irritated, so it irritates the nerves back, which irritates the muscles, which irritates the nerves. So, yay! I personally hear a lot of whining in my voice this morning, so I hope that's not true in real life. Acoustics, oh my God, I can hear my voice just bouncing around inside of here. There's nothing to capture the sound waves anymore. So, oh boy, yay. Past that, I have just been doing what I can. Yesterday, I was in here. I had a small bout of falling asleep, but mostly it was just static. I played a very, very little of Halls of Torment, but past that, I did moving. I did as much trying to relax afterwards so that my nerves would not just go, well, I don't want to be bedridden, so I gotta be careful. And oh boy, so I am hurting. Nothing loud or sharp, just a dull ache from here on down to my fingertips. And then yesterday, when I went to go walkies, I was so tired. I was ready to just not go at all. But I decided, hey, let's walk to at least Safeway. And then, of course, once I got out my front door, it was like, yeah, I'm going to Walmart. So I made it all the way up to Walmart, and then I walked all the way back. And, oh boy, I am dead. Yay! As much as I showed the despair of life and all that, I'm actually trying to be as upbeat as possible. I mean, life is bad right now. It's not good. It's bad, but it's not the end of the world. So it's change and shock and trying to get ready. But all in all, I'm not going to complain too much about it. The actual having to move. The process of moving I'm going to complain about. But actually moving, life is change. If you stop changing, you stagnate. And if you stagnate, well, stagnation is death. So, past that, taking a look on my list, I really don't have much anything. I've been trying to think of creative thoughts. I've been trying to think of stuff that I can do for myself, and trying to just do things so that I can not go nuts. And I thought about a lot of stuff while I go, well, I'll try that again in English. I think about a lot of stuff. I try to think about a lot of stuff. There are times when I go on walkies when it's just static up here for the entire walk up and walk back. I try to do my best to think of creative thoughts. They are just, bouncy, 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 1,000 ping pong balls in a wind tunnel. And every time they smack into each other, I'm off on a new subject. Squirrel, 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 constantly. But I do my best with all the pressures going on. So thumbs up on that. So lots of different characters that I'm trying to remember. I can't remember any of the characters that I've been working on. I mean, I remember them. The big names that I've talked about before. And even characters without names. Where, oddly, the sheriff of Tenasket in Tenasket Valley, in my setting, I don't have a name for him. I may have had a name, but it's so unimportant that I've forgotten. He's just the sheriff. I mean, I've got his history from growing up in the town of Aqualoch, and then going from Aqualoch at 1,500 kilometers away from Apple Rock via caravan all the way to Apple Rock on a slow trip with glamours, but it's just oxen pulling a cart, and you travel 1 kilometer to go 1 kilometer, so it takes time if you're working with slow transport. So he took a transport into Apple Rock, at which point, he knows how to get there from that point. And he went to the community college, learned what he could, ended up over in Tenasket Valley where he became the sheriff. And then he spends a few decades as the sheriff of Tenasket Valley, at which point, at the end of that, he and an EMT Kelvin are going to answer a distress call of a hiker who shouldn't have gone out during a full moon, who got injured, ended up staring at the full moon. By the time the sheriff and the EMT got out there, they had become transcended, which you're about 12 to 15 feet tall, about 1.5 tons of solid muscle. You are an existential horror at that point, and you have to eat to make up the energy deficit, because you've put on 1.5 tons of meat. That doesn't come from nowhere. You need to pay off that debt and fast. And the best way to do that is to fill your belly with meat. And so it's chasing Kelvin and the sheriff, who they managed to get past a huge ball of gathered static energy, where the Transcended runs into it and whammo. And with the energy released, Kelvin becomes, a sort of forest god type creature. Doesn't have god powers. He's just a 25-foot tall half man, half deer. And the sheriff slows down so that 6 months after this happens, they hit the point where it takes 1.78 billion years for 4 seconds for him to pass, at which point he fades into the gray nothingness of the razor's edge at that point. So I don't know what his name is. He's just the sheriff. So thumbs up on that. So yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do what I can in the house and then trying to think of creative stuff as best I can. I'm 10 minutes in. This isn't going to be a long one. So I am going to try and definitely make another video today. There's not a lot of big stuff. Now it's just getting the littler stuff put away and down there so that I can get stuff transported, and then getting all the stuff that remains ready so that I can take that out on the 29th. Because the night of the 28th, I'm going to have to get this stuff all put away with the monitors and such, so that the 29th, they'll come in the morning and move all my stuff, so the 29th, I'll have nothing left in the house. And then on the 30th, well, I'm going to have no bed here on the 29th. And then there'll be no bed here on the 30th. I just got to make sure during those 2 days that I'm cleaning up the last little bits and picking stuff up. And then leave it as clean as I can. I mean, I am not expecting to get my security deposit back. I mean, this rug here in this room is trashed. I have spent 8 years in this one spot with my chair. It's the old 80-20 rule. 80% of your room gets only 20% of your traffic. 20% of your room gets 80% of your traffic. This is a rule that applies to absolutely everything. When you take a look at life, you'll be kind of surprised at that. Take a look at where you live. 80% of that space you only use 20% of the time. Whereas that 20%, walking from the door, sitting here, taking care of my aging kitty cat. 20% of this room, 80% of the traffic. These chairs that I use have wheels on them. This carpet, after 8 years, is trashed. I only, in like the last year, finally realized that. And so I put down a throw carpet so that I'd run my wheels over that to try and protect the carpet. But it's trash. They got to get a new carpet just because of that alone. So I'm not expecting anything for the deposit. Pay for everything else, yeah. Especially with the people. The guy that used to own the house was apparently a real sweetheart. And then when our issues began here with the owners, he died. And then the son and the son's girlfriend started taking care of the properties. That's when the issues began, and that's when my housemates started packing up and living somewhere else. So, yay on that. But still, I'm doing the best I can, and as stated, trying to think of creative stuff. I just talked about the sheriff and all of that. So, I mean, I think about various stuff. A lot of stuff that isn't even going to be used in a story, but it has to all fit together as a house of cards. If I can nudge it and the whole thing falls down, then I'm not going to be able to use it. So I have to make every part of it make sense, which means I've talked before about just the one time, because I don't like to think about it myself, about what happens, the end result after you are devoured by a cryptid. You're being churned through their digestive tract. You come out the other end. I don't like to think about that part. But you kind of have to, as much as you may not wish to, because if you don't, that leaves a lot of questions, like what's going on with them? They are different creatures, how are things being taken care of? Yet maybe only a small part of the house of cards, but if it's not there, the whole thing is just a little bit shakier. So yeah, I had to think about bowel habits of cryptids to get that foundation for the whole house a working. So there's a whole lot of little tiny things like that that I may not necessarily want to think about, but I want to keep the foundation of the house of cards solid. So I'll spend a little time going, oh, okay, of course this makes sense. Yeah, this is how this would work. Because I talk about how the cryptids live, 98% of the cryptids live as their ancestors have lived for hundreds of thousands of years, a little better than animals. And that's okay for them. In my setting, the cryptids they are very much more than we are, in that they can survive comfortably temperatures up to like 115, 120. They don't really feel the heat. They can go down to like minus 40 Fahrenheit and they don't really feel the cold. You may be talking to one of them who's standing there just naked in the snow. You go, aren't you cold? And they'll turn to you and say, oh yeah, I'm freezing. And then just turn back to what they were doing, ignoring the weather. They'll feel it, but it doesn't bother them. When it gets to like minus 40 to minus 60, they're having discomfort. And before lower than minus 60, they gonna die unless they get help. Over 120, they gonna die unless they get help. So there's that range. And as mentioned, I have posited that since they are made of different matter, you cannot really harm permanently a cryptid with normal matter. I mean, you can, but it takes work. And then, I mean, if you take a knife of normal matter and you cut the arm of a cryptid, their skin is just, and muscle or whatever, is just going to knit back together afterward because of the normal matter. It can't permanently damage things like that they are made out of. Now, if they get cut by a knife made out of cryptid metal and they cut themselves, it's going to take months to fully heal up. It's only normal matter stuff. Now, you say, wow, gosh, golly gee whiz, which is weird for you to do. But if, like, say, a cryptid gets a sword that passes through their arm, generally if it's like a quick swing like this and it's not a thick blade, by the time it goes from here to here, this part over here is knitting up. So by the time it exits here, their arm isn't even flying off. If you got a thick chunk of metal and you go thunk through their arm so that they can't reach, and it'll separate. And then their arm is separated and it'll begin to heal up into a stump. So and they gotta breathe. So if you make it so a cryptid can't breathe, they ain't gonna do well. If you can choke out a cryptid, they still need blood flow to their brain. So you choke out these arteries, and they're gonna pass out from lack of blood flow. They are more than we are, but they're still matter. They're still organic beings. They're still alive, and you can disrupt those procedures and stuff that make them alive. So, you can do that. So, yeah. 19 minutes in, I'm blathering, so I want to thank every single one of my Patreon patrons who are not up here on this list, but thank you so very much. It is appreciated. With my PlayStation, there's only so much I can do for editing. But thank you. Without your help, I would be hosed like a Christmas monkey. And thank you each and every one of you that has donated to my GoFundMe or in the past to my PayPal, which still exists. So if you want to donate to my PayPal, please do. Of course, do not feel obligated to under any situations. But if you do, and oh boy, do I still need help, that would be greatly appreciated. And thank you to everybody who has. Now I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It is never much anymore, but it's more than zero. First off, though, what I'm going to hit a key combination to get the spotlight out of my face there. We have Jesse Koskinen, who says it's weird to see the room empty. And oh boy, it is weird being in an empty place and everything torn apart. I don't like it. And then JAYY thumbs up. Thank you. Good to see you at Hokey Smokes. And news with the tiny whole room thing. We're all still waiting on the people in Bremerton. They have not... The place is open. It's waiting for people to move in. They want people to move in. The rooms are empty. And they haven't heard anything from the people that they give the applications to. They're sitting around with, picking their noses and doing nothing. We're all waiting, and it's the people that are processing the applications. Who knows what they're doing? Nobody's hearing. It's driving everyone crazy. Made in Canada, thumbs up, thank you. Good to see you as well. And I generally try not to deal with politics. I mean, as much as I talked about it yesterday, politics, they make me angry. So I try not to think about it, but you gotta to some degree. I mean, everything is politics. Well, governmental politics. Spider report. The little spider is still up there in the window. There was a bug carcass in her web this morning, so she's eaten. Thumbs up for that. She's a good spider. Yay! And I have no idea what is going. I don't know who's in the right or who's in the wrong with this whole thing between Canada and India right now. But oh boy, is that a can of worms, and I'm glad I'm nowhere near involved in that. Hokey smokes. There's Melissa R. Thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. It is greatly appreciated to see you in the comments as well. Oh, of course, I'm taking my Lemonhead comic strip and my fanzine that I made back in the, early 80s? Yeah, mid-80s, Diaspora, with cover art made for me by the comic book artist Paul Chadwick, who did the ancient comic by this time, Concrete. So, it was thumbs up. And the late science fiction writer Mac Reynolds actually wrote me a story for my fanzine too. So yay! And ARIO, thumbs up, thank you much. Nigerian Prince, hey, it's actually good to see you in the comments. Thumbs up, thank you very much for the status update. I hope things go well for you. Hokey smokes. Housing is fun. Your future bright, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. Flora Mew, yay! It is good to see you in the comments. And how do I feel about all this? I feel lost. I am uprooted and lost. I normally feel like just a branch floating in a stream connected to nothing, but I just really feel lost right now. We have RJ Mitchell, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And here's hoping I can get into there. And there is Brian, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And there's Hoagie, greatly appreciated. And that is it. Thumbs up, thank you all, greatly appreciated. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. And oh boy, right now I need a lot of not thinking about everything. So Hokey smokes, I'm just taking it easy today. I am going to continue moving stuff as best I can, but my arms, as much as I'm waving them around like I just don't care, oh, Hokey smokes, do I care. So I gotta be careful as I can, do what I can, move as much as I can, pack up as stuff as much as I can, without crippling myself. So I'm going to try my best to just take it easy in the midst of all the stuff I still have to do. Hopefully you can take things as easy as you can, and definitely go into survival mode if you have to. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. I have a bruise right here. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a bruise right there. Just thought I'd mention that because I got to turn this on so I can turn this all off. Leaning way over, so hand in a high contrast position. Oh, the things we do. So, yeah, now that I'm leaning over like this in a very uncomfortable position, you take care, and I'll see you on the flip side. Oh, I really need to cough, and I want to laugh, which is going to make me cough.